So in the spring of 2013, Wikispaces.com has added a new kind of wiki format as an option for people signing up for Wikispaces accounts or for people that already have Wikispaces accounts. And it's a sort of teaching and learning centered wiki format. Up to this point, wikis have been a lot like really easily editable websites with familiar structures where, let's just look at an example of one. Let's see here. Let's look at this one, where you might have some navigation on the left with links, and then you have your content on the page here. And they're still kind of similar to that, but they have a new format that adds new interactive features, and they call it their classroom, sort of classroom wiki style. Okay, so if you come into Wikispaces, let's say you get your account, and you tell them you're an educator, you're either in K-12 education or higher education, then by default, anytime you make a new wiki, it's going to present it to you, it's going to show it in the classroom format. That's totally fine. You can always go and switch back to one of the other two formats. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm logged into Wikispaces. I already have my account. I think you can figure out how to get to this point, where you sign up for an account, and then you come to your dashboard. And you always get to your dashboard by clicking on your login name up here, or you can click on your little picture if you have a picture, and that'll take you to this spot that I'm at. Okay, so I'll let you figure out how to get to that point, and then you can click New Wiki. Now, some of you may, let me just, as an aside before I do this, some of you may have created a new wiki as part of signing up, and you can always create another new wiki. If you want to ditch the one that you already created, you don't want to deal with it, or if you want to go into that wiki that you created, it's going to be in a list down here. So you can go into that wiki you already created if that's the case and do what I'm about to show you. Or you can create a new one. I'm going to create a new one right now. And I'm going to tell it my industry tied to this. So, it looks like for every wiki you make, they want to know what's the industry within which this wiki is embedded. So it's not like they remember that Kim Hewitt is an educator. So for each wiki you make, you'll probably be asked this question. And so if you answer K-12 higher ed, K-12 or higher ed, you're going to get the classroom version of the wiki by default. If you answer a lot of these other ones, you'll probably get the classic wiki by default. Okay, and you can switch between the two. I say it's best to just say you're an educator so that you have that option, because I think if you put down that you're something else, you may only be limited to the classic wiki option. And you might want to, I don't know. Anyway, all right, so hit continue. Then you give it the wiki name, and I'm going to give it something really unique that I know isn't taken. The sky is green today. And then I'm going to delete this when I'm done talking to you guys today. You want to give, you can give whatever kind of information here that you feel comfortable with giving. And I actually have I've given information before to create a wiki for my children in what I call their summer homeschool when they're with me during the summer. So that's my school, and I'm not going to give a name of the course or the grade. I certify the wiki will be used for education, and I hit create. And then we see this really interesting looking space that I urge you guys to play around with. There's probably tutorials on Wikispaces. They may have some help features that help you get around and figure out how to use this new format. I know they have webinars that they created a few months ago, earlier in 2013. So they're probably getting their tutorials out. So don't totally ditch this format. You might find it useful for your particular educational context in the future. But for this class, I would say you probably want to do what I'm about to show you, which is go to Settings, and then you hit Settings again right here. And this will take you to what they call application type. What type of wiki do you want this to be? Do you want this to be a classroom wiki designed for teachers and students? It has interactive sort of classroom features. Do you want it to be a basic website? Looks like a website, but it's edited like a wiki? Or wiki. And I would say just go with the wiki for now. And you can play with these other features. The basic website's really useful sometimes because you take that wiki that you've created, and if you click this, then anybody that visits it, for them it'll look like a website. It removes the edit button and all that kind of stuff. But to you, you can always edit it. Like I'll show you the basic website very quickly. how it works. So now we've got a more wiki-ish looking thing, but where's the edit button? And for those of you that don't know it, a wiki, a wiki page would have an edit button for this page. And so the way you get it, turn on that wiki functionality for yourself is you hit show wiki controls right there, and then you can edit. So sometimes the basic website option is kind of fun because I think other people that visit it, to them it looks like a website and it doesn't have like this kind of stuff that's maybe a little bit distracting. Something else that's worth noting, if you go the teacher route and they start you off with that classroom version, by default, you have a private wiki because they do that to protect your classroom and the students within it. So to change that, if you want to change, I believe you go to permissions and see how the default is private. Private will mean that you have to add me to your wiki if you want me to be able to see it, which you will have to do. So you can always change it to protected, where anybody can view your wiki, but only members could edit the pages. That would mean you. You can make it public, which I don't really see the benefit, honestly. I would go protected or private. But again, if you go private, you have to add K Hewitt, K-H-U-E-T-T, to your wiki. And you do that by, let's see, where's the invite? Here's a way you can do it. Over here where it says members, and you have a little plus sign next to it, that adds members. So you would add K Hewitt and hit send. And that's how you would add me to your wiki if you decide to keep it private. So make sure you do that. Finally, let me go back and just go back to turning this into a classic wiki. Of course, we hit settings, and we hit wiki, and we hit save. And that's what you'll want. And again, like what I was suggesting earlier, is you could, for this class, you could actually make yours a basic website if you prefer. Either of those options will be fine. Just make sure you add me to it if it's private. All right, I hope this helps. I know I've kind of explained and over-explained, but since it's an online class, I've got to do that sometimes, since I'm not right there and I have to make sure I answer every possible sort of angle. All right, thank you.